Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
You will bring the jury.
Alex stolen as well. No, we're not stolen. Alex stolen.
I'm not a camel.
I'm not a cat.
Alrighty, we're back. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? We are back. Jerry has a question. Yes, we knew that as soon as we killed the live stream, they would come back and want something else. Congratulations to Greeners, who was first in chat. Who's also the person.
I saw a chicken.
He was also the person who called me and said, "We've got motion. We've got a question. Please come back." So here we are. We are back in court. Just wanted to get everything set up here. Just 1 second. They have not started yet. We're expect that in just a minute, though. So just 1 minute here. Boom, boom. Let's cut that. Boom. All right. Here we go. Hot tub cold case jury timer. What? What did I put there? No. Let's fix that. There we go. All right. Notifications are coming in. Jury question incoming. Here we go. Perfect timing. Look at that. Whew. Everyone, we made it. This is going to be loud for a second when the volume comes in, but I think we're waiting for the defendant still. I don't think she's here. I think the jury's just done for the night. This is probably the question. Valerie, you're probably 100% right. The jury's like, "Please, Judge, please. We can't reach a... Will you please just excuse us?" And he's going to be like, "You never asked." But yeah, that's going to happen. It's 9:30 at night, and it's a question, and it's definitely about, can we just go home? All right, let's see. Amy Manti, missed you. 16 months. Yes, you're back. Thank you, Amy. Congratulations on the 16 months. Also, we've got Tess Hurd. Will you be covering the Apple River sentencing tomorrow? That is our plan. We plan on covering that during jury deliberations if they're still going on. But that will be tomorrow. Thank you very much, Tess. Congratulations on 7 months as well. Man. What a day. Angela says, if it makes you feel better, it's 3:38 in the morning where I am. It does. Angela, thank you. I feel much better now. This is jury question number 2. Thank you very much for this, Amber. We have... and we won't be turning the phone on just for the mods because they're just spent. They're absolutely spent. Prosecution is in. Looks like we have both of them there. Jury is not sequestered. Judge was sleeping. Getting a little shut-eye in chambers, I think. Yeah, I think he's sending him home tonight. The night shift bailiffs are on. We've got new bailiffs. I haven't seen them before. There is our defendant. Ashley is here. Counsel and entourage is present as well. Melissa, welcome.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We're back on the record in State of Florida versus Ashley Benefield, 2020 CF 3014. I have another communication from the jury. I'm going to read it verbatim, and then I'll hear from both sides. Unable to come to unanimous verdict. Signed, juror.
That's an easy one. It's been less than 6 hours. Keep working. But with this caveat, Your Honor, I think you should at least acknowledge to them, because I don't know that either out of politeness or a sense of intimidation. I don't know that they know they can ask if they can go home and come back in the morning.
Judge, and I think asking them about going home and coming back is definitely something that they also need to Allen charge before we make any decisions after that.
I can give an Allen charge after 6 hours.
Yeah, hold on. Just go ahead and say your piece.
Judge, I didn't realize that there was any hour attached to an Allen charge. I just thought that once they said they were deadlocked, that you give them the Allen charge. But it is almost 10 o'clock, so they may want to go home and come back tomorrow.
All right, thank you both very much. As we all know, the Allen charge is a one-time thing. So my inclination was to bring them out, acknowledge that they've been working for almost 6 hours, well over 5.5 hours, acknowledge the time of the evening, and give them that option. And I'm not going to ask for them to vote. The way I do this is I'll explain to them, you've been working, we acknowledge that, it's late. If you want, you can go home for the evening, come back tomorrow fresh, and continue your deliberations. I send them back to decide if that's what they want to do or not, and then go from there.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Wow.
Okay.
All right, let's bring them out.
Judge says no to the Allen charge. State wants the Allen charge. Judge says send him back and make him keep work. Or defense says send him back and make him keep working. It's only been 6 hours. I've seen juries call it a day much sooner than this jury did.
You will bring the jury.
The Allen charge is sometimes called the dynamite charge. When a jury is deadlocked and they can't reach a decision, the judge has instruction that he reads one time to them, at least in Florida, one time. And that instruction is, whoa. Sorry, just watched her assume.
You all can have a seat. Welcome back.
Hang on, I'll explain.
Members of the jury, I've received a note from you. It says unable to come to unanimous verdict. We all recognize that you've been working for almost 6 full hours, and it's getting late. It's almost 10 o'clock in the evening. I want you to go back, and there's an option that we can come back tomorrow and start fresh in the morning. I do have some court first thing in the morning, but we can get started same as every other day about 9 o'clock. So I'm going to ask you to step in the back and make a decision amongst yourselves if you'd like to come back tomorrow morning fresh to start.
Or there's no other option.
I need you to discuss that first, please.
A lady just said, is there no other option?
All right, you can all have a seat.
Did you hear that? Apparently they're hung. And they might come back and say, no, we're hung. Jennifer Gma, I think Grandma. Gifted a membership. Thank you very much, Jennifer. Love the profile pic as well. They want to be done. I think they want to be all done. Is there no other option? Is what she just blurted it out to the judge as she was excused. Judge stood up and expected them to just walk out. I'm going to keep this down just a little bit. I'm not sure if they're going to make any arguments here. The Allen charge that they've been requested, the Allen charge is sometimes called the dynamite charge. They've reached a log jam, right? And the judge can give a charge that basically shakes them up a little bit. And it might sound a little harsh if you've never heard it before, because this jury, he's been very kind to and nice to and polite the whole time, he's like, look, you've got a job to do, and you're supposed to do it. There's no better jury than you to do that. And he's got specific words he's going to read. It's the Allen charge is like, you read it verbatim, I think, in Florida. And so he basically gives them this charge, like he tells them to go back and try again. Sometimes he says go back, depending on the state's version. You might say go back and try to look at it. Let everyone speak and start by looking at things that are, the problems with your position or the strongest points to the other side. Shake up how you're doing this. See if you can reach a conclusion. If they come back again, it's done. It's mistrial. If they come back again with no verdict. So I'm going to start the deliberation timer again. I paused it just for a second, but technically they're still deliberating right now. So even though it's just about to go, whether or not they're going to go home. The defense does not want an Allen charge. They have said, we want all or nothing. In his closing statement, we don't want a compromise verdict, as he called it, which was the lesser included. We don't want a compromise. We want the, all or nothing. We want a verdict in this case. And the jury, they've put on a full trial. The jury says we can't reach a verdict. We can't reach a unanimous decision. 6 people can't agree is what we have right now. Defense wants them to spend more time. He says 6 hours is not enough. Now, you can do that. You can say, keep trying to the jury without giving them the dynamite, the Allen charge. Once you give him the Allen charge, I believe his hands are tied. Let me pull up Florida's rules specifically regarding the Allen charge. Okay. Supplementary jury instruction. Let's see, jury instruction right here. Florida Standard. Jury criminal instructions. Supplemental instructions. This is chapter 4. Jury deadlock 4.1. All right, this is how it reads currently for the Florida bar. It is as follows. This is a quote. This will be read verbatim. I know that all of you have worked hard to try to find a verdict in this case. It apparently has been impossible for you so far. Sometimes an early vote before discussion can make it hard to reach an agreement about the case. Later, the vote, not the discussion, might make it hard to see all sides of the case. We are all aware that it is legally permissible for a jury to disagree. There are 2 things a jury can lawfully do: agree on a verdict or disagree on what the facts of the case may truly be. There is nothing to disagree about on the law. The law is as I told you. If you have any disagreements about the law, I should clear them up for you now. That should be my problem, not yours. If you disagree over what you believe the evidence showed, then only you can resolve that conflict, if it is to be resolved. I have only one request of you. By law, I cannot demand this of you, but I want you to go back into the jury room. Then, taking turns, tell each of the other jurors about any weakness of your own position. You should not interrupt each other or comment on each other's views until each of you has had a chance to talk. After you have done that, if you simply cannot reach a verdict, then return to the courtroom and I will declare this case mistried. I will discharge you with my sincere appreciation for your services. You may now retire to continue with the deliberations. That message was adopted in 1981, and I believe it's been mostly the same since then. Now, the state wants that. They want the Allen charge. The defense says, no, keep deliberating. And the judge says it's too soon for the Allen charge. But instead of giving them either what the state wanted, which was Allen charge, or the defense wanted, which was keep deliberating, he said, there's a third option. You could go home for the night. So go back and decide. And then he stood up and just expected them to leave. And I think the jury was sort of surprised by that, because one woman who might be the foreperson said, is there no other option? Is there a third option or something? So we'll see if they come back and say, no, we told you we're hung. This is what happens. Why only 6, not 12 jurors? Florida runs 6 jurors on this. That's a state law. I think the Allen charge can be coercive. Do you suspect that lady was a foreperson? I do, Greeners. I do. Generally, because she spoke out, and before that, juries are usually really quiet until the foreperson is in charge. And once she's the spokesperson, I think we start hearing more from them. We've seen that in other cases as well. Plus, the odds of that there's a lady being a foreperson, there's only one man. So I've just statistically, I've got a 5 in 6 chance of being right that it is a woman who's a foreperson. You like the Massachusetts charge better? Was it work through the night or come back tomorrow? He did leave it kind of open. Yes, Kelly, that is an option. The jury might decide to stay working through the night, and then everyone has to be available, within 10 minutes to show up. Let's see. Jury got to question people in Maya. Why did they not get to question people in this case? Every state's different, and I don't think I don't think I've seen any Florida cases where they ask questions. I like questions. I like that the jury can ask questions. There are some places where the jury is not even allowed to keep notes. Look at the Alex Murdaugh trial, okay, or Alec Murdaugh trial. That one, the jury was not even allowed to take notes, and they had weeks of financial testimony. Here we go.
All right. The response from the jury is, we will stay. Signed by a juror.
We will stay. Now what?
So we'll be in recess until we get another question or a verdict.
That's right. Thank you.
This is nuts. This is nuts. We've heard judges bluff so many times when they say, you can deliberate as long as you want to. And every time. Please, Mrs. R.A., please, thank you. Where was that? I just saw this. That's it, I'm ordering pizza. Thank you. I appreciate that. I could use some real food. That half-cooked rice just did not do it. All right, so we go back to verdict watch. It's 10 o'clock. They must be exhausted. I have to say, this does not... I could order pizza, but nothing's open right now. Oh, that's my problem as well. I don't think we're going to get pizza. My clock is off because I keep a different timer than the other timer. I started mine at different points. They started theirs later. I run my clock differently. That's how it works. How long can they go for? This judge, okay, I was saying that. Other judges have bluffed. They're like, as late as you want. And then they're like, oh, wait, actually the court, the deputies have to lock up the building and we can't stay after 5. Or, it's half an hour, it's dinner time. Do you want to call it for the night and start again tomorrow? We've seen that. This judge literally said as late as they want and meant it. I've never seen it go this late. We'll be after 10 o'clock at night. It'll be more, even if they come back with the question right now, it's going to be after 10 o'clock at night just to read it. I wonder if that, I wonder if this will work like an Allen charge. The idea that they would stay. Okay, think this through for a minute. Okay, the jury and other questions, every question they've read, they've been brought out and been read an answer, and they go back and continue deliberating, right? So they just submitted another paper. They may be sitting in the jury deliberation room waiting to be summoned to the courtroom, waiting for everyone to get together so they can come in and talk it over. They might not be deliberating. They might be saying, we want to stay. No, we're a hung jury. They might be 100% decided that they are hung and not budging. But the judge is waiting for another question. The jury is waiting to be invited into the courtroom to address the fact that they want to stay. Oh, it could happen. It could happen. Braxton, they can go as late as they want, apparently. Trina, thank you very much. I haven't even watched closings yet, but I can't leave because this is wild. Trina, it is. Congratulations on 8 months, Trina. It's wonderful. Just Breathe member for 13 months. You passed that year mark. Thank you. Thank you very much, Just Breathe. Appreciate your support of the channel. Wouldn't be the same without you here. Let's see. One holdout, says Nikki. Mama of three. Up all night. All right. I told you, deja vu. Daniel Cavalcante. We did have some late nights with him. That was a late night. To the OMG, we really do live here fund. Auntie Candy. This is home. This is home. I'm just going to have Mrs. R.A. send a pillow and blanket downstairs, and we're going to call it good. Oh, my goodness. This is bizarre. You did tell them they could come back tomorrow, and they said, no, we'll stay. But there's zero. Here's what I'd say. There is zero possibility that the jury, between when they came back and said, we can't reach a unanimous verdict and we'll stay, that somebody changed their mind. They're like, well, I'll reconsider. They're still just as deadlocked as they were before. I think they mean we'll stay, meaning we're hung. This is your verdict. Well, this is the result. Better Call Saul says manslaughter for sure now. The judge is taking hostages. You got to get that compromise verdict. I think that the defense saying we don't want a compromise verdict, it's all or nothing, I think that helped. And I'm surprised that wasn't objected to by the prosecution because that's not really how the law works. Selena K says, for the pizza fund. Did you? Sending the boys to go get some food. Where are we getting food? Parties, if they're still open. Hey Siri, what restaurants around me are still open at this late hour of the night?
Which one?
Only hour.
McDonald's.
No, that's not a restaurant.
Mi Cabana is. Oh, there goes my mic.
No, Mi Cabana is yucky.
Okay, I found this on the web for Mi Cabana, Mike.
No, it's yucky. I sent them to Hardee's, but I don't know if Hardee's is open.
What restaurants around me are open? I said restaurants wrong.
Okay, here's what I found.
All the barbecue places are closed.
That's good.
McDonald's is open.
Gross. I'm too snobby, but for real, I'd rather eat crunchy rice.
Okay, mics are hot. Do you need to talk? Hang on a second. All right. Hang on.
This is important stuff, guys. I know that they're like deliberating whether or not somebody goes to prison, but we've got to get food.
I can't even find my town on the map. Oh, that's because there are no restaurants here.
You know, you said something very funny that you were like, I don't think that they allow questions in Florida. I was like, well, Maya was in Florida.
In criminal trials.
Oh, in criminal trials.
I don't know if we've seen one in criminal trials.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That you're in charge of ordering. Just get stuff.
Hardee's is closed. It's only McDonald's.
Dang it.
You guys, how sad is that?
Oh, that's really sad.
Pizza Hut's definitely closed.
Yeah, that's...
No, they're closed soon. They just closed.
Really soon. Oh, it's too late.
No, they're open for half an hour. Pizza Hut's open for half an hour.
Do you know where Pizza Hut is?
We'll find it.
Okay.
Jordan.
Okie doke. Hopefully, we've got one little kid wandering around who, my teenage son came up to me. He's like, "Mom, I think this child is having blood sugar issues. Like, we've just got to get some food."
We have food. It's just not food he wants to eat.
Yes. Also, it's super late. They should all be asleep, but they're not.
I should order the pizza from now.
You should talk to your chat. Trust the boys. They'll do a good job.
Sorry, we're talking about food right now. All right, 6 hours and 11 minutes of deliberations. We are Grubhub. There's nothing close by. It's fine.
Okay, so what's the deal? The judge said basically go. Well, he said you could go home, though. Why would they choose to stay? I would want to go home even if I was going to say I'm still hung. I still want to go home.
I think the judge just has a dark spot instead of a soul. And no,
this is the judge you were just complimenting.
He's been brutal right now. I understand his behavior towards the lawyers. The lawyers are trained. They should know better. They know how court operates. They know the procedures. They know the steps. They are expected to know the parts and the timing of what happens in court. The jurors are not.
No, they don't.
All the jurors know is what you have told them. I don't think any of these jurors, I doubt any of these jurors have ever served on a jury before. They don't know they can ask for read-throughs. They don't read backs. They don't know that they have to ask to go home. They don't know all these things. And so him just assuming, because that's the way he does it, I think that is a disservice to the jury, and it will lead to some confusion.
Yes, but he was pretty clear. Hey, you guys can go home. And they said, no, thanks. I'd rather be a zombie.
Hang on. Oh my goodness. Evangeline Light, you just bought dinner for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Evangeline, where did that go? Oh my goodness. She said, check your Venmo. Yeah, it's there. Dinner is on Evangeline Light tonight. Thank you very much.
Sweet. We'll share with everybody.
I'm going to blame you for blowing my diet, though. Is that okay?
No, it's my fault. That rice was not good.
I have a funny story. Well, it's not very funny because Mrs. R.A. is here right now. She might see this differently. There was a time right after we moved here that I went out metal detecting with our one car.
This was not funny.
And Mrs. R.A. wanted dinner, and we didn't have any food.
It was not that I wanted dinner. It was that our kitchen was not.
We didn't have a kitchen at the time, so it was impossible to cook. And I took the car and went metal detecting hours away. So we're like, we'll just order pizza. And she orders pizza, but she can't go pick it up because she doesn't have a car.
It's not that close.
It's far away and across like highways and things like that. And so here I am. She calls me, I think, and says, so the car, the pizza, I can't get it. And I'm like, what can I do? So I turn around and start driving home. I get there like, I don't know, 2.5, almost 3 hours later. And of course, I have to swing by Pizza Hut. And they've just kept it in the warmer for me.
Yeah, I called them. I was like,
we're not.
It was
brick.
Oh, it was
so a brick.
Bad.
It was so, and they're like, here's your pizza. I'm like,
they said
I know
it like
I ordered it and this is my
gift.
fault. But they're just like, haha, here you go. Full price. Of course. Yeah.
I know, it was our fault. But the thing is, when I called him, I was like, oh, I don't have a car. We're not going to be able to come pick it up. And he's like, that's okay. We'll hold it for you. I was like, thank you.
Yeah. So we bought another car.
Thank you, Evangeline.
Evangeline Light, thank you very much.
That is not what we did.
Angela says, check email. Let me see what we've got on email.
How many of you guys went to bed between?
How many of you are watching from bed? Show of hands. How many of you have your phone or your iPad, your laptop,
Propped
and
up.
you're sitting in bed, leaning back on the pillow, being like, this is my sleep pose.
Yeah, I am officially in my pajamas.
Look at this. I'm in bed.
tired.
I'm in bed. I'm in bed. I'm in bed.
Yep.
Hands. This is funny.
That's because you're smart. That is the appropriate thing to be doing at this hour.
Okay, I'm looking for email.
Holy cow. Everybody's in bed. No doing laundry. I do my laundry on my bed because I'm just not motivated to do laundry, so I will put it on my bed, and I hate anything being on my bed. I just want my bed to look all pretty and nice and put together, so I'll put my laundry right on my bed, and that is just super motivating for me. I'm like, oh, fold that, get it off.
She puts it on my side, so in case she doesn't get to it, I just don't have a spot.
You know, that's how partnership works. West Coast, it still lights out.
Oh my goodness.
What?
Angela sent me a picture of her schedule. She calendars what she watches on the Olympics, and her calendar is just
my goodness.
full. She's binge watching the Olympics. Which is
Holy
awesome.
cow.
There's so much to watch. Oh, and another.
Everybody's in bed. It's only 7 p.m. on the West Coast. Still bedtime.
We've got a laptop order for Sarah Boone for Orange County. They're ordering her a laptop. Got that.
She is, yeah, that's a tough situation. What's up? Mrs. R.A., take R.A. out for sprints after dinner. And the boys will, it went too high.
What was the question?
And I don't know, you're too high now. Go down, go down.
Then you and the boys drive while RA sprints. Yeah.
Nice.
I was explaining. Were you here for this part?
What?
The jury has come back and said they're hung. The judge told them, well, you can start again tomorrow. Do you want to do that? Why don't you go out and decide? The jury went back to deliberate. It came back within minutes and said, no, we'll stay. And the jury has not been brought out after they brought the will stay note, which I think is an oversight. The judge says, fine, we'll wait for the jury. I think the jury's waiting for the court, and the court is waiting for the jury, and we're in this loop where...
A frozen place?
Yeah.
What would they be waiting for the court
It's a staring contest to see who blinks first.
They're playing chicken with each other.
The jury's like, we are not changing our mind. They can make us wait, but we have decided I'm not moving my position. And the judge is like, we are not going to... We're going to wait here until the jury tells us otherwise. And so I think it's what we have here is failure to communicate. I think we have a miscommunication.
Yeah, and it would be because I didn't see it that way.
Because the jury, they've already said they're hung. They've asked, as they were excused, to go figure out if they wanted to go back and try again tomorrow. They're like, isn't there another option?
Yeah.
I think they know they are hung, and it will not change.
Yeah, but this is like going to bed and trying to work out something that's emotionally difficult. Don't do that. Go to bed. Deal with it in the morning.
If you're ever on a jury, know that you have the power.
You've got the power.
You honestly, you have the power. If you guys are hung, you send the note. You tell the judge, we will not deliberate further. We have discussed everything. We're done, and make him. They can't make you come back the following day.
Yeah, but they can read you the Allen charge.
Read the Allen charge. Go back. Come back 2 minutes later.
But if they don't know what the Allen charge is, they're going to be like,
you can't make us do that. Done. I say that because I don't like the way this judge, as much as I love him and how fair he's been in the trial, I don't think he's doing any favors for the jury and telling them what they actually need to do. We've now passed
He's not
6
instructing them well.
hours of deliberation.
Well, and I don't actually think that 6 hours of deliberation is a problem. It's the 10 p.m. Are you kidding right now? No good decisions are made at this hour.
Are the boys gone already?
Yeah, hopefully they make good decisions.
Yeah, me too. Go there and tell them, no, we can't. That's the thing. You have to know these things going in, because once you're on the jury, you just can't talk to anybody.
Yeah, especially if they're staying there.
That's the way it should be.
They cannot talk to anybody.
Mrs. R.A. has a great radio voice. You should see her YouTube channel.
And a radio face, too. It's amazing.
I got a face for radio. Mrs. R.A. has a YouTube channel where she talks about homeschooling her kids.
Yes, I do. I have not put a video up in so long. I've just
That's because she thinks YouTube is a fad. and it's going
And it's peaked. It's done.
Oh, no, she does a great job over there. She's just been super, super busy getting ready for our trip.
Yes. This is supposed to be rest week. Like, I scheduled it out. This is the week where we rest so that I'm all ready to go for next week. And it has not been restful. I had to go to the DMV yesterday, and it has not been restful at all. But I will say, for reasons I don't understand, I think probably she had blood sugar issues, but the lady who was on the other side of the desk in the DMV, she was interviewing my son because we were getting his permit, and she said, "Do you want to be an organ donor?" And my son looks to me for advice. I'm like, "Oh, your body. I'm not telling you what to do." And he said, "Well, I would rather live. But if I'm done doing that, you can have my organs." And she busted up laughing and laughed for like 30 minutes straight. She stopped everybody she could find. She's like, "This boy, he said he'd rather live." I can't do the Southern accent, but it was so funny. I was like,
I'm going to get the...
Sorry, I can't do it very well. But, I mean, she just kept quoting him, "I'd rather live." I was like, okay.
That's probably the funniest thing she's heard of the DMV all month.
Probably. It is the DMV. But, yeah, anyway, the point is we spent hours doing that. And today we did lots of stuff. We were running around doing lots of stuff today. And it has just definitely not been a week of rest. So,
I fixed my mic, I think.
I don't think
it's
all squeaky.
It's squeaky. It's supposed to be squeaky. That means it's turning at this joint instead of unscrewing every time I turn it. Because if I unscrew it, then it just like falls down.
And springs up and knocks you right in the face.
There we go. This one just is in the way. Okay, I'm looking for a sponsor to keep my mic in position. Any companies you guys would suggest?
So funny.
All right. Foreperson is not a good communicator. Yeah, the jury has a little bit of burden on them as well for this. I don't know how you can flip someone if they either do or they don't believe her. Yeah, there's no way they're going to flip. I just think that the jury saying, "We'll stay," meant...
Make me.
We're hung. We want to be done tonight. All done.
Yeah. And that seems so weird to me that I think, just go home. Come back the next day. But I guess maybe if they're like, "No, I'm done." Maybe that's what they're doing.
Crystal says, "Are you missing Mountain Dew with these late, long days?" I did initially. It was much worse at the beginning because it was like, "Oh, I'm tired. I need a Mountain Dew." I'm like, "Nope, not going to do it." And now it's much easier.
Really?
It's much easier.
You had withdrawals for a while?
Yeah. You guys keep mentioning Dr. G. Dr. G Explains on YouTube is an amazing.
He's super smart.
He's a nice guy. He's a friend of the channel, actually. A great gentleman who is a clinical psychologist and behavior analyst. He testifies in court, and you know he's a pro. This is what he does for work. But he sees patients. That's his main business, and he analyzes stuff just based on body language and a lot like the behavior analysts, Spidey, those guys. And he does a great job. He looked at Ashley, and I believe, I haven't watched all his video, but what I heard, they're throwing up comments that I don't know what's going to say. But what I heard was that, let me direct this, that he believed Ashley's sadness on the when she got up and she was crying. He says that was genuine. I don't know his reasonings for why he.
What was she sad about?
Recounting the event of what happened.
Oh, so it could be that she feels bad about. Well, I imagine she does feel bad about it.
Yeah.
How many children do we have? I'm not sure if that was to us. We have 6.
Yep. 5 that we like.
Scott, there are kids in the room. We like all of you.
We like them all. One of them, apparently, we put up for, we keep joking, we put up for adoption because he grades my hump day yell in the morning. It's like, that was like a 2 out of 10. I'm like, yeah, whatever, you're up for adoption.
He can't be up for adoption. He is my kitchen cleaner. Like, every time he looks at me, he's like, "Mom, you look tired. I'll clean the kitchen." I'm like, "I just love you."
What can I say? I train them well.
Yeah.
This was all Mrs. RA on that one. 100%. All right. Let's see. Stephanie Moore says, Anna, juries get a lot of time away from court, and here in New York, you can go to separate section outside to smoke. They get some breaks. They do get breaks for sure. They can leave. But anytime one juror leaves, even if one just leaves to go to the bathroom, everything stops. It's like zoop,
Yeah.
until everyone's back together. That's the law. The rules, I should say.
There, as I understand it, there's 1 man and 5 women. Is that right?
Yes. And I think a woman is the foreman, and that's not just statistically. We have 1 woman that spoke out. And she's like, Judge, isn't there a third option? As she's leaving. Nope.
What third option did she? Oh, I guess she wanted the third option to be like, we accept your status as hung.
Yeah. Watch Dr. G easy earlier says next, please. And he basically said that he found her believable, but he also said it really bothered him that the state had her reenact. I've seen the state have the defendant reenact things before.
Reenact abuse? What do they reenact?
The shooting.
Oh.
And we saw that with Dean Cummings.
Yes. That did not go well for the prosecution.
It went bad for the state. Plus, in the middle of it, he ended up pointing the exhibit directly at the prosecutor, who was acting like the victim in the case. It was made for a great thumbnail. I'll tell you that. The defendant, looking down at AR at the prosecutor. Do you run that entire operation from a MacBook Pro? Great question, City Kitty. I actually run it from a piece of equipment which I love, which is broken. It's this one right here. It's not this one here. It's this one here. All these the red and white, from this green light up, that's it. It's got 211 buttons. It is a 8-channel HDMI switcher with a built-in hardware encoder, meaning that it connects directly to the internet and sends my live stream straight to the internet without any computers. I could turn off this computer, that computer, this computer, that computer, and this computer, and that iPad, and still the stream would still go out just fine. It doesn't require a computer for that. That being said, it did break early this week, so we're limping by, not able to do everything we normally do with it, but we're gonna get through, and we are replacing it with another. Can we get a hardware video? That would be awesome, Andrew. I should do that.
I've pushed for this a lot. I think that it's a really good idea because other than court questions, the most common questions are talk to us about your equipment.
Yeah. I will say that a lot of YouTubers go what's called a software route, where they use something like OBS, which is some free software that you usually run on a PC. It doesn't run very well on Macs. I'll be the first one to admit that. And OBS allows you to, move things around on the screen and do basically everything I'm doing, but it just uses software. For me, I was trained. I went to college. I got my degree in broadcast television, in communications, electronic media, and that's where I did my. What do you call that?
Degree?
No, where you do the work experience part.
Internship?
Internship. That was actually a full-time job. They counted it as an internship. That's what I've done. I've worked for production, live event production, and all professional live event production is run on hardware. It's more reliable. Everything has its own job. Granted, mine broke this week, so it's take that with a grain of salt. But that's just the way I've run it. It's a little more expensive that way, but I think it's much more flexible for me. I'm able to troubleshoot problems very, very quickly because I have a visual chain of everything that's going. My entire system over here is run through this is the PC part. This is called a Stream Deck. It has, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 4. That would be 36 buttons on it, which are programmable. Every single one of them is a screen. It's like a little tiny TV screen, and it can change what's on the picture on the screen. You can make it be anything. You can make it be a video if you wanted. And what happens when you push the button also can be customized. And so this is like a shortcut to anything I want to have happen. So if I wanted, say for instance, I wanted my face to disappear off the screen, I could push a button and it would disappear. I push it again and it comes back. If I wanted chat to show up on screen, like where Tinkerbell says cool, I can push this button and chat shows up on screen. So these are upstream keyers. I have downstream keyers, which is...
Wait, pause. What's an upstream? What does that mean? Upstream of what?
It has to do with where the video is in the order that the image is applied to it. So upstream happens first, downstream happens later. Downstream keyer is the last thing. The deliberation timer words right here, those words, that's in a downstream keyer.
Downstream from...
It's the last thing that goes on the image.
Okay, so upstream means the first thing that goes on top.
But the window right here with the counter in it, that's actually a super source. That is, as you see on my screen up here, the big TV screen. Right down here, that window is the secondary monitor for this computer. And that's where I run my timer. So it's a little complicated. I love it. I absolutely love it. I do have one more. I've got a soundboard right here. You can't see in this particular image. You can see it better. This right here. The soundboard is from Rode. It's fairly simple, very easy to use, believe it or not. It's fun, and it runs a lot of my sound effects, like this one.
Your son just smeared feces all over my bathroom.
And you never know when you need a sound effect like that. So
yes, it would surprise me if I needed that.
The commands that happen in chat where you guys make sound effects happen, that's run by this computer right here, and that is using a tool called Lumia Stream. I do pay for that every month. I think it's $6 a month. And then when you do a command that starts with an exclamation point, one of the commands that I've built, it will play sound effects, which generally, feces is not one. No, it's not one. Only I can control that one. I'm going to get a whooping. We have it, boy mama. It's exclamation point whooping. See, I'll keep my hands. I'll show you here. I'll keep my hands right here, so I'm not going to push anything. That was experience.
Shame on you, sir.
Shame on you. I'm going to turn the volume up a tiny bit. Lunch should be firing off any second now.
When are we going to break for lunch, Judge?
There's lunch.
I said someone with more experience.
Yeah. Anyway, so those commands are triggered by you guys. We turn those off during court when things
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Yep, there's not relevant. So all those are, I think, is Roach's one?
Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
There's.
I think Roach's is a type.
I object.
Object. Yeah, they're coming in really fast. I'm going to turn it down. Amber says, "Catch my last comment."
So some of those trigger audio ones that you guys were just listening to, but some of them are just typed ones. And right at the very beginning, when Scott just first started this channel, we were listing Scott's skills and the different things that he brought that could make a successful business. And one of the things that I brought up was you are just super witty. And so all of those things that are typed in every time you trigger a command that's just a written command, that's Scott coming at you loud and clear. He created every one of those typed ones.
That's like these here. I'm not sure why it says the zombies are coming to eat our brains.
You typed that.
I'm just kidding. That was me. When you say a whoopin', if you say whoopin' and you trigger the command after someone's already played it, so you did it twice within 1 minute, then it responds with, "Oh, now you're gonna get it." So that's what these comments are for. Anyway, as Amber said, none of this is required to stream. Most of you have, if you want to do YouTube, most of you have a smartphone, and that smartphone. Oh, look at that! You can see the LiDAR image. That's just cool. That's scanning my face. That's how it unlocks. I didn't know it would do that.
It was scanning your face from the screen?
It's like an infrared. The camera. You see the little flashy symbol? Like right up here? See that?
No.
Right
I
where
see
we're pointing.
The camera.
Look. You have to wake it up, and it's...
These are the worst, these wake up things, because I'm always trying to sneak a peek on somebody's watch to see what time it is, and I can't because it's all black because they're not tilting it to look at them. I'm like, Yeah. All of us lazy people who don't want to wear watches have just become time lost.
Anyway, if you have a smartphone, you have enough to start a YouTube channel. And I always advise, my advice to everyone, because I have a lot of people call and say, "Hey, I like what you do. Can you help me out? I wanted to do this. I've got a channel. I've got this hobby that I'm interested in. How can I do this?" My advice to everyone is the same, and that is to start before you're ready and start with what you have. You don't need all this. I went to school for this. That's why I started acquiring a lot of these things. We had some other business ventures that failed, where I acquired some equipment. But Pizza's on its way, I think, by the way.
We hope so.
Fingers
We sent
crossed.
our big boys to go get it.
My kid is obsessed with Mr. Beast. He lives not far from us, very close. My kids have been in one of his videos. I've worked at his warehouse, helping doing philanthropy stuff. There's a text for
Somebody asked if you could recap the 2 questions.
The 2 questions that have come in so far from the jury. The first one is specifically relating to Dr. I have to get his name right. Dr. Quintel, his testimony, which is the second time that he testified. He testified twice, once for the state, once for the defense. They say on the second time, he gave an opinion on Doug's character traits. He said he was alpha male, aggressive type. He listed these things which were in and of themselves not bad, but in this light could be portrayed as negative. And their question was that opinion based on what Ashley had told him or what Doug had told him? That was their question. The answer to that question is, jurors, you have all the information, rely on your notes. They were not told that they can have a read back so they can hear all that testimony again. And so they just had to base it on that. We heard nothing else from the jury until they came back with this second question, 9:35 p.m., saying we're hung. We can't reach a unanimous conclusion. They were told there to do they want to go home and eat dinner for the night? No, they already had dinner. Do you want to go home and try again tomorrow? And they were sent out, and they sent a note back, and the note to the judge says, no, we'll stay. And that's where we are. It's just hanging right there. But I think the jury is still hung. There's no way that 10 o'clock at night that they're having constructive discussion on the case. They've been here all day long. Well, they had a little break during the day, I think, but it's really, really long. We are getting pizza, I think, if they'll make it. I don't know. My sons are choosing, so it might be something terrible.
I doubt it.
Yep.
They have to eat it. They're going to get something good.
It might be like all cheese pizzas. I don't know.
I sent 2 of them. I said, you were in charge of driving, and you were in charge of buying. I figure they can handle that.
Do you give them?
I gave them some cash. Okay. I don't know if I gave them enough. That might be a problem.
Do you want to text them?
Yeah.
Are we staying up till a verdict? We're staying up until the judge says the jury can go home.
We're staying up till pizza.
Is there a song about we're up all night? Oh, no. Right. I just started singing the verse in my head.
What is that song, Scott?
I know that like the Russian group sang it in the Olympics. We're up all night for good fun.
They did?
Yeah.
Of course they did. Oh my gosh.
It wasn't this Olympics. It was a previous one. You guys know the song I'm talking about, right?
No, they don't. They're not.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yep, a couple people know. They're doing the emojis. Yes, I do. Who sings it?
Not us.
Daft Punk. Is it Daft Punk? I went away for a second. I came back to Russian groups singing. Oh, we have some activity. Just one second. Box source 3 is 2. Boom. The bailiff just poked his head in. That was it. He just opened the door and looked in the courtroom and walked out. But that was activity. That's enough. That's a good sign.
Enough for what?
And this bailiff is pulling the wires. There's another bailiff coming in. Oh, we have...
Who's
Ashley
that?
is here. Eva is here.
Who's Eva?
That's Doug's daughter. She testified earlier. I don't think she was here for the questions. Court TV is saying verdict.
I bet it's hung.
Just 1 second. Let's verify. Just 1 second.
They're like, is it music time? Maybe. We don't know.
I think they would. She would be here for a verdict. I don't think she was here for the questions.
If it's a verdict, then it must have been just like one holdout.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, somebody just said pull the jury. Yeah, the odds of there being coercion is pretty high. But I actually don't think, I don't think that's, I think they're okay with that. I think they are okay if there is coercion within the jury.
Boom. There we go.
No way. That was coerced. Well, no, he said he could go home.
Ashley Benefield is on trial, charged with second-degree murder, and after 6.5 hours of deliberation, the jury has reached a verdict. It is after 10:30 at night. 10:30 at night. The jury came back with 2 questions during this deliberation. The first one asking for clarification on some testimony during the trial. They did not get what they were asking for. The second one saying they were hung. The judge sent them back to think it over, saying, "Do you want to go home for dinner?" They came back and said, "No, we will stay." And now we have a verdict. Somehow, whatever was holding out, I'm not sure on which side, the holdouts were convinced. They have now reached a unanimous decision. Oh my goodness. I was not expecting this. I was not expecting the jury to be able to reach a constructive conclusion to their deliberation at this hour of night. I sure can't do anything constructive this hour of night.
I tell you, the defense, they think that it was on their side because they didn't want the Allen charge.
Wow. This is unbelievable. Verdict is in. There we go. We're updating the message here. We're just waiting for all the players to come back into court. Ashley Benefield, her lawyers will be there. We still need prosecution to step in, but the family is here, and that was our first clue that we had a verdict. We didn't see them during the questions. The judge telling them to go, do they want to go home for the night, was basically treated like an Allen charge.
They felt it that way. Cute.
And pizza's here. We have pizza and a verdict. Oh, it's 3 meat. Oh my goodness. You guys, this smells so good. I don't know how I feel about this. Obviously the family's on edge. We're going to stop the timer here at, let's see
I've
where
never
we're
heard
at.
the end of that song, I don't think.
It wasn't great. Normally the judge starts talking over the end, but deliberation timer is stopped. For us, 6 hours and 43 minutes. We have a verdict. I don't know why the other timer is still going, but I feel nervous, says Mal's your pal. I'm nervous as well. Yeah,
We're sure it's a verdict?
No, a juror had a commitment. They didn't treat it as an Allen charge.
A juror had a commitment? Like somebody has to do something tomorrow?
We haven't heard that. We know that jurors that were dismissed had commitments. That we heard that during the case. The 3 jurors that were dismissed, one of them missed an important work event. Are you eating pizza while I'm...
Heck yeah, I'm hungry.
Oh, my goodness. Mrs. R.A. is digging in. Will the verdict be they're still hung? It shouldn't be. If it is, the jury has made a mistake, because a hung jury is decidedly not a verdict. That's being unable to reach a verdict. So that would be a mistake in there. It's possible that the jury could come back and say they're hung. That would be a mistake for sure. Spoiler says petrified. It's delicious.
Dude, it smells amazing.
Oh my goodness. It is so good. I don't know who the man was who had his arm around Eva, but
This is the problem with court cases in general.
both clocks are now stopped.
Nobody wins.
Here's prosecution. Court TV said both sides decided to keep a juror that had a commitment tomorrow. I know, but one of the jurors that, Ashley, I think you're right. One of the jurors that was dismissed also had a commitment that he missed, and it was prior to this.
Wait a minute. So that's a lot of pressure. They all felt like they had to get it done tonight.
Well, they were able to. I guess that's the short of it. They were able to reach a conclusion. Do you want to talk for a second while I
eat?
It smells so good. Oh my goodness. You're not gonna watch me eat. Sorry. I'm gonna be right here.
I ate one piece of the sausage and it is so hot in my mouth. I'm like, oh, I need some water, but there's no water in here. So maybe I'll just eat that one piece of sausage. We'll be good. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Do you think that, it seems to me that the defense felt that it was leaning their direction and the prosecution did not. That's why the prosecution wanted there to be the Allen charge and the defense did not. But I don't know that you can count on that. No, what?
I can't talk.
Oh, Scott's saying, okay. Stretch it out. Okay. Mrs. Ari, in every trial, no matter how horrible, I feel bad for the families mainly. I hate it. It's upsetting every time nobody wins. That is so true. Even if you come in this and you're like, I definitely feel like this is the proper conclusion to come to, and whether they agree with you or not, nobody wins. Something bad has happened, and, I was reading, I think, Plato or Aristotle, and they were just talking about how the court cases are really kind of the lowest dregs of a civilized society, that they need to be there. They play an important part, but really nobody wins. It's going to be a sad outcome no matter what, because it is happening because something bad happened. And that's what we do. I have a feeling it will be not guilty, says Sandra. Anyone know how old Eva is? I do not. 24, Scott says. Oh, that's going so fast. Lots of people think 23. People are saying I would vote not guilty. Eva looks like she's about to cry. Yeah, nobody wins. Especially the family of the person who died. There's no way to win. What are they waiting for? They're waiting for the jury to come and for all of the different people to get in the room. Ashley needs to be there. Kenny says you need to breathe.
I need to breathe?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the pizza is so good.
Is it good?
Goodness. Okay, I'll trade you. I'll turn your mic off and you can eat.
Okay, good call.
It's also scalding hot. Okay, Ashley's just came into the courtroom. It looks like her whole legal team is there with her, even the legal assistant, all present. I think we're going to start as soon as they sit down.
All right, we're back on the record in State of Florida versus Ashley Benefield, 2020 CF 3014. I've been informed there's a verdict. Prior to bringing the jury out, I did want to make this announcement. The jury has reached a verdict, and I'm about to bring them out so the verdict can be reviewed and published. I know many of you here in the audience have been here throughout the trial, and I want to thank you for conducting yourselves appropriately throughout the trial. I realize that the reading of the verdict can be very stressful, and it is likely that some of you will agree with the jury's verdict, and some of you will not. As sometimes happens, it may be that no one is pleased with the jury's verdict. Whatever your personal feelings are about this jury's verdict, I ask you to remember that these jurors were randomly selected from our community. They were thoroughly questioned by the court and lawyers for both sides, and they were selected from the larger group to hear this case because of their demonstrated ability to be fair and impartial. I've paid close attention to this jury, and they have been attentive, observant, and focused throughout the trial. No matter how much you agree or disagree with the verdict, there are to be no outbursts of emotion. Our judicial system, in fact, our entire society, has relied on jurors to help resolve disputes for over 200 years. Their verdict needs to be respected, even if you don't understand it or don't agree with it. Are you ready to bring in the jury?
Yes, sir.
All right, bring them in.
You will bring the jury.
So I've got like pizza grease on my fingers. I can't touch anything because it's not good for my equipment. All right. When the jury said no, we'll stay, they meant it. They got business done. Hung is not a verdict. If they come back and say they're hung, well, that is not correct.
All right, you all can have a seat. Members of the jury, I understand you have a verdict, and we have a foreperson.
Yes, we do.
Ma'am, has the jury reached a verdict?
Yes, we have.
Is the verdict unanimous?
Yes, it is.
Would you please hand the verdict form to the deputy? I need to check it and make sure it's in proper form. All right, the verdict appears to be in proper form. Madam Clerk, would you please publish the verdict?
In the Circuit Court of the 12th Judicial Circuit in for Manatee County, Florida, the State of Florida versus Ashley Benefield, case number 2020 CF 3014. Verdict. We, the jury, finds as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is guilty of manslaughter, a lesser included offense. Did Ashley Benefield actually carry a firearm? Yes. Did Ashley Benefield discharge a firearm? Yes. Did Ashley Benefield, as a result of discharging a firearm, cause death to Douglas Benefield? Yes. So say we all this 30th day of July, 2024, at Bradenton, Manatee County, Florida. Cheryl foreperson.
Would either side like the jury polled? State?
No.
Defense?
Yes, sir.
Members of the jury, you're now going to be polled. The clerk is going to ask each of you individually if this is your verdict and the verdict of the jury as a whole. Madam Clerk.
Juror number 15, is this your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole? Yes. Juror number 20, is this your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole? Yes. Juror 21, is this your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole? Yes. Juror number 29, is this your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole? Yes. Juror number 33, is this your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole?
Yes.
And juror number 35, is this your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole? Yes.
There it is.
Thank you.
Jury comes
Members
back.
of the jury, I want to thank you for your time and consideration in this
included.
case. I know that many of you have missed important work obligations and family obligations and other engagements that you had planned, as well as time with your families. But I want to thank you for being willing to give us your time and your attention and being observant to this entire trial and serving as jurors and doing your civic duty. I have paperwork that we're going to give you that will reflect your service as a juror, as well as a piece of paper from the clerk's office documenting that each of you has been here for these number of days if you need it for work purposes. If you need some sort of other paperwork for work or anything like that, contact my judicial assistant and we'll be able to get that for you. I also want to advise you of some very special privileges that all jurors enjoy. No juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that occurred in the jury room except by court order. For many centuries, our society has relied upon juries for consideration of difficult cases. We have recognized for hundreds of years that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair as long as they wish it. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to speak about the jury's work. Although you are at liberty to speak with anyone about your deliberations, you are also at liberty to refuse to speak with anyone. A request to discuss either your verdict or your deliberations may come from those who are simply curious, from those who might seek to find fault with you, from the media, from the attorneys, or elsewhere. Bless you. It will be up to you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as a juror or not. Again, on behalf of myself, the entire judges of the 12th Circuit, thank you very much for your time and your attention during this trial. I now discharge you as jurors in this case and release you from any further obligations in this matter. You're free to go. Make sure you pick up your electronic devices, and please make sure that your notes stay with the deputy. They're going to be returned to me. They will be destroyed. No one will ever read your notes. Okay. Thank you. All right, you all can have a seat. The jury is out.
What is Ashley writing?
State.
Judge, I would ask you to demand the defendant at this point. I believe she has a right to a PSI for sentencing, so I'm not sure if she would waive that or proceed with that.
Do you want to PSI?
I think we'd prefer to have the PSI.
I'll sign an order tonight for that. It's a late in the evening. My judicial assistant will reach out to both of you tomorrow to begin coordinating a hearing, sentencing hearing. You could let her know how much time you need. Right now, the pre-sentence investigations are running a month to 6 weeks, so it'll certainly, the time for sentencing will be outside of that, but then you can let me know how much time you'll need.
She's writing feverishly. The bailiffs are about
Let me direct myself, Your Honor, to post-trial release if I can.
Yes, sir.
Under Youngston, I know that Younghans, rather, I know that the court is familiar with the standard. They stated in no uncertain terms, but if taken in good faith on grounds not frivolous but fairly debatable in view of the decisions of the Supreme Court, then the petitioner should be admitted to bail. And they set out for the trial court 3 factors. The first, with respect to the appeal not being frivolous, I think by the court's own acknowledgement at 2 different points in the trial, the court noted that we were dealing with novel issues that the court had not seen before. I think we certainly have good and sufficient grounds to appeal in good faith. The factors, according to Younghans, Your Honor, is the habits of the individual as respect for the law. Ms. Benefield has no prior history of criminal activity, as the court knows. Her local attachments to the community by way of family ties, business, or investments. She lives here in Bradenton, has lived here for a while. Her mother resides here. Her child resides here. The severity of the punishment imposed for the offense, that is substantial. There's no denying it. And any other circumstance relevant to the question of whether the person would be tempted to remove herself from the jurisdiction of the court. Ms. Benefield, on every single occasion over the course of the life of this case, has appeared when requested. She has never once failed to meet any obligation pursuant to the bond that she's on. As a result, we ask that the court entertain setting a post-trial bond The only other thing that the court noted in the Younghands decision was that it's axiomatic that the exercise of judicial discretion should never be arbitrary, capricious, or unreasonable, and where the discretion is exercised in favor of denying to a person a basic and fundamental right, the reasons for doing so should be sound and they should be clearly stated. So pursuant to Rule 3.691, post-trial release, Your Honor, we ask that the court admit Ms. Benefield to bond, continue her on the same bond, in fact. And if the court is not inclined to do so, we ask that Your Honor stay the decision so that we can appeal directly to the second district. As the court knows, it's an accelerated docket because of the nature of the motion, that is to say, the bond.
Thank you. State, did you want to be heard?
Judge, I object to any bond at this point. The potential sentence is 30 years. While this defendant may have appeared at every court hearing, she was not convicted of the charge at the time. She has much more at stake at this point, being convicted of this crime, and I would ask you to deny bond.
Any rebuttal?
No, sir.
Ms. Benefield, the jury, having found you guilty of manslaughter with a firearm, are going to remand you to the custody of the Manatee County Sheriff. We're going to revoke your bonds where you'll be held pending sentencing.
Bailiffs are moving in. She's immediately taken into custody. We're going to schedule the PSI.
The court will stay in recess until we get a sentencing hearing set up.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And we're done.
I trust Your Honor will issue a written order on the bond.
The bond?
Yes.
Yes. If it's required, I certainly will.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thanks. Thank you.
Ashley wrote something feverishly on the notepad. Then, right as she was being led away, she said something to her attorney. The family's leaving the courtroom right now. A pat on the bailiff's shoulder, I guess. Interesting. She said something to the attorney, pointing to the notepad. There's a note that she wrote for someone, and I don't know what it means. I would actually be concerned for her.
I am very concerned for her
well-being ongoing. The attorney has grabbed the notepad. She wrote it on the second page. She had her notepad. She flipped the top page over. She wrote it on the second page and then flipped it back down. But that's it. That was the verdict. I'm shocked. I'm very surprised. But the jury looked at the evidence. They had all the evidence presented before them, and found that she was guilty. They did not believe the testimony they heard from her. I know that because if they did, they would have found her not guilty.
I disagree with that.
You don't think they believed her?
No, I do not feel that they would have found her not guilty if they believed. I feel like people often think, well, you've got to be guilty of something because you're here. And even if you believe them, it's like, well, but...
Yeah. Fallen Respect says she knew this was coming. No emotion at the verdict. Like, no surprise. Stone face. That also surprised me. There must have been a low number of holdouts. I'd say 2 or 1 holdouts on that. Amber says, "Can we be done?" Yes, we're going to be done. It is almost 11 o'clock at night. I'd like to thank all of you, especially the mods. Sorry, let me thank the mods first. They worked really hard today. Thank you very much for everything you do to keep chat happy and copacetic and everything. I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much for sticking with us through this case. This has been a very difficult case with issues that strike very close to home for far too many people. I thank you for your patience with each other as we shared opinions that might be different than our own, or listen to opinions that might be different from our own. Thank you for just the way you treat this, treat each other in general. And thanks very much this week for the way you've shown support for me and my family.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. I do appreciate that.
That's been absolutely huge. I just about dumped my pizza on the ground. I would have cried now again if I did that. I'm sorry. Can't dump my food on the ground. I'm going to eat in just a minute. You guys have yourself a wonderful night here. I'm going to think this one over a little bit. Braxton says that was compromised by the judge keeping them. He should have sent them home after the hung letter. This feels wrong. I have to say I stand by the jury's decision because I do trust the jury. I trust the process that the jury goes through. And even though they reached a decision that was different than mine, that is one I have to respect and say that the process was followed. The judge was fair. And I don't agree with everything he did, but the way he did things was fair. And I have to stand by that. So, Ashley Benefield, next time we're going to hear from her or see her in court will be at after a pre-sentencing investigation. We'll then have a sentence. She stands to serve up to 30 years in prison.
Are you serious? 30?
30 years.
For what?
For aggravated manslaughter, which she was found guilty. It was the lesser included of the two that she was found for. They did not find her for murder too. They went down to the one below. Small victory, but it means very little to Ashley because she still now sits, will be sitting tonight in jail as a convicted murderer. You guys, thank you very much. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe till we go live again. We'll be live tomorrow, probably 8:45 or 9 o'clock. We do have the Bad Apple River trial. The sentencing is tomorrow. He's already had his pre-sentencing investigation. We'll see what happens in that case that we followed it seems a few weeks ago. Maybe it was a couple months ago. But thank you very much. You guys have a good night. Be kind to each other. Please get some sleep, get some rest, get some food, and we'll see you in the morning. Bye-bye.